Thanks for joining me today, Tsahi. Security is a common topic in WebRTC, as it should be in all of software development. And there's a lot of encryption built into the WebRTC media channels already, but it's point-to-point security, not full end-to-end encryption, right? So we have a lot of vendors who have added in end-to-end encryption as an optional feature in their tech stack. But my question for you today is, do we need end-to-end encryption in WebRTC applications?
I guess the TLDR answer is it depends, but in most cases, probably not.
Yeah.
So this would be like a feature that you need to mark in the checklist that you need it, but you're never going to actually use it after you marked it and chose the vendor. And I guess it starts from the question of what are you looking for, like encryption or privacy? Which one? Okay. Security or privacy. Like
Okay.
the more secure the system is, it's actually less private in many ways.
Okay.
Because the question is, who are you securing it from? So if I need to secure it from users, then I need to authenticate and authorize them. So I need to know who is doing what, when exactly. So is that breaching their privacy while I'm doing that? And if I want to have a conversation that is private, what does it mean if I want security for children so that there is no, I don't know, people removing their clothes or saying things that they shouldn't? How do you handle that? Do you do it locally on the device, or is a server going to look at what goes on there and, well, where is the privacy is going now? So there is a tension there that always exists between security and privacy. And I think that most cases would tend towards security. And when we say end-to-end encryption, we're actually saying privacy more than we're saying security. Okay, that's just my viewpoint.
No, that's a good point. It's a good point about the tension between those, and it feels like both security and privacy and end-to-end encryption are the kinds of things that when someone's building their requirements document, their RFP for a product, they just sort of throw that in there. Yeah, we want it to be secure and private and all those things without thinking about what does that really mean and what are the trade-offs that they're making. So yeah, if you're building something like, Signal, then you want privacy, right? And you want end-to-end encryption. But for most use cases, you probably don't want that, right?
Most profitable companies in the world, and I would again focus it, that make money out of software, tend to need that data that is going to breach privacy.
Right.
And that's going to be the end of it. Facebook, Google, Amazon, just throwing names out there.
Yeah.
And that's the truth of it. Now, here's the thing. I'm a company. I'm an enterprise. I've got 1,000 employees. I want a system that is secure and private. Definitely that I want that. Now you're going to tell me I'm going to give you end-to-end encryption in the solution. I say, great, let's enable it. And then you tell me, well, now we can't record the calls.
Right.
And there is no translation and transcription and summaries, and we can't do all of the nice stuff with all of the AI crap that we talk about every month for the last year. And then what would the business person say? What would the CEO of that company say? He would say, screw that. I don't want end-to-end encryption. Just make sure that I can record the calls and get insights. And because if we don't do AI properly, if we don't understand the company, we don't have the velocity, and someone else will kill us. Ta-da! End of the conversation. Now,
yeah, when you use end-to-end encryption, you are losing the benefits, a lot of the benefits anyways, of having a media server in the middle. You can still use a media server in the middle, but it can't do much with the media because it can't decrypt it, right? By definition. So so all these things that our clients ask for, we can't do.
Yes, and now you can. Okay, it's not that you can't. I can say, well, let's do a media server and have another user join, and that user would be a machine in the cloud that would be managed by the enterprise, not the vendor. And that machine would then do the recording because that has a private key that the vendor doesn't have.
Right.
We can do that.
Sure.
But then wham, it's like now I need to have machines hosted in the cloud that I manage, I maintain.
Yeah.
We're doing that, so I don't need to do it. So it's like, how do you go and bridge that gap? That I don't. I mean, I know how you do, but it will work only for very large enterprises that really, really seriously need both of these things at the same time. Let's say governments. Okay, they can pay for it. Others, less so. I don't see, the small SMB that is trying to sell washing machines going to do that. Why?
Right.
It's not worth it. And I think that in many ways, the way that end-to-end encryption grew up inside WebRTC was because of two things. At the time of inception of that, it came from a company that tried, I don't remember even the name, the company that decided to go against Bloomberg and bring some fintech solution that would allow also the people to interact in there, and then you don't want things to be recorded or to be able for others to join these sessions. It made sense. Yes, fine. Today, no, because everyone wants to record these calls and summarize them and send them to the bot to do whatever. But at that point in time, it made sense. And the people playing with WebRTC and toying with it at the time, so, well, here's a new toy to play with. We've done WebRTC. We know how to do video. Technology is there. What else is there for us to play with that is new? Oh, let's do end-to-end encryption. Let's add things. Let's call it perk or something else, and then the insertable strings and whatnot. But there was like enthusiasm of doing something new within the standard, and then you go, it was more a technical solution looking for an actual business problem. Okay, and we have end-to-end encryption that everybody enjoys and needs, and everyone uses for other things other than end-to-end encryption. So yes, there are a few calls out there, a few vendors that actually need end-to-end encryption, and they would say, I'm fine with doing recordings. I would sacrifice that in order to have end-to-end encryption. A very less than 10% of the market. And that's being very generous in the numbers.
Yeah.
So end-to-end encryption is nice, I think. But that's where less useful than we've been marketed or told that it would be.
Yeah. Obviously, in every application, some level of security is important. Some level of privacy should be important, though not always.
Yep.
But that doesn't mean you have to have end-to-end encryption for sure. And if someone is telling you that, you should push back a little bit and think about the trade-offs. Because even as you said, you could make some architectural compromises and get both, say, recording and end-to-end encryption, but you're going back to an older architectural style that we kind of used in the past of having a third dummy participant join the call just for the sake of recording it. And there's a reason that we got away from that and do recording on the media server instead, because it's better, it's more efficient, it's better technically, right? So you could do it, but you have to make some trade-offs that most people are not going to want to do in complexity or cost. So.
Yes. Now, I think if you move fast forward 5-10 years from now, we will probably have end-to-end encryption for video. I'm not talking about chat messages and text messages, for video. But then there would be a lot of this, and how do we actually incorporate that in the other things that we need, like AI and recordings and transcription and translation and all of the other things? Do we do it on the edge? Do we try to segregate the machines in the cloud that have access or don't have access? I remember when Google came out with their noise suppression solution for Google Meet. They said, well, we do noise suppression on the server. So wait, the servers are now decoding the audio that we're sending them, not only decrypting because it's an SFU, but also decoding? And the answer was, well, yes, but it's on special machines that are not related to everything else, and it's like it's protected and put aside. You're decoding everything, you're decrypting it, and you're actually listening to my audio to do noise suppression. did Google Meet reduce in market share because of that, or did people just go and enable noise suppression and be done with it?
Right.
So I guess that's how things are going to work in our industry, and they're going to continue working that way. If someone can crack how you do both, that would be great. I don't see it happening, let's call it soon. We have bigger problems to deal with, usually around AI.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Tsahi. Well, thank you as always for sharing your insights with us today. To learn more about Tsahi's work, you can check out bloggeek.me. To learn more about future episodes of WebRTC Live, check us out at WebRTC Ventures. Thanks, Tsahi.
Thanks, Arin.